For the most realistic steering system available on the market, look no further than Sim Steering from Leo Bodnar. Designed and hand-built at the home of British Motorsport's Silverstone circuit, it's extensively used by professional driver training centres and race teams including Formula 1 since 2010. The high precision and completely linear response coupled with high strength provides the ultimate in realistic steering force feedback. Visit simsteering.com.
There are your champions for World Sport Series 2015. Walk
racing. Certainly always walked it this weekend.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Virtual Endurance Championship. The 5.3 kilometer circuit of the Istanbul Park plays host to the 6 hours of Istanbul, the sixth round of this season. And obviously we'll be taking you through qualifying, all four sessions, LMP1, LMP2, GTE Pro and GTE Am, all four sessions brought to you live here. It's all 25 minutes long, and alongside me today is a Mr. Thomas Hinds. Hello, my old buddy.
Yes, hello Lulu, and hello everybody watching. Hopefully it'll be a good, fun session ahead. Should have a good fun time in Istanbul. I do like this track. It's a very fun little track, Istanbul Park. Bit of a shame. I was quite saddened when F1 took it off the calendar. So it's good to be back here and racing again. And yeah, it should be a fascinating session ahead with these guys to see who can take that coveted pole position.
Yeah, of course. This track no longer exists, as far as I'm aware. It's a car park, isn't it? Something like that now.
Yeah.
But either way, yeah, we've got the 25 minutes ahead of us for the LMP1 qualifying, and I'm seeing some sort of new overlay, little bits, little touches. Very nice, Mr. Jimmy Allison. Very nice. But yes, of course, it's pretty standard. 25 minutes to take us through each session, and we're not expecting any rain today. It's all looking nice and sunny here. Of course, last season, we did see some rain in the race towards the end, which caught a few teams off guard and did make a very interesting end to the race. But yeah, so I'm expecting a nice, exciting round here. But we're just getting ready to move on from this warm-up session which we won't be doing the full 9 minutes of. Don't worry. But yeah, we'll be over shortly, and we'll see who can take the pole position here. Only twice this season has a team taken pole position and then gone on to win the race. That's a fun fact, isn't it?
Yeah, there you go. So that's a bit interesting, isn't it? I guess with these endurance races, it's kind of like, I guess it's kind of expected in a sense because it's such a long race. So yeah, it's a little bit. I guess it is a bit interesting, but yeah, I guess being endurance racing, it's a little more likely it would happen here than in the shorter sprint races where you have less time to overtake the leader and so on and so forth. But yeah, very interesting fact, isn't it? So there you go. So that's we'll see if that happens anything different here.
Yeah, one of the sessions was the only 6-hour race we've had so far this season, being all the way back in Fuji. So obviously looking to this one, we're kind of I don't know. Maybe we'll see pole position go on to win. Not sure who's even going to grab pole position here. Of course, we never really do. Feeder Sport look like they're under some very heavy threat pace-wise from the likes of 3 Wide as the session gets underway, and the RGPL car, which did drop out of that top 3 in the standings after the previous round. Of course, they had a free pass back in Sebring into that top lot. They actually qualified in the bottom division. They were going to be in room 2, but of course, because they were top 3 in the standings, they got that free pass up into room 1. This time, they don't have that, so they need to qualify in the top 10 if they want to get into that. Fortunately for them, we do only have 15 cars, which is it's I think like 6 less than what we had at the start of the season, or not the start of the season, coming like Fuji or something. We had something like 20 odd or 19. So there's it's a little bit, I wouldn't say easier, but to get into that top 10, yeah, fine, okay, it's a little bit easier than back then. So yeah, they've got to pull their finger out there if they want to get in that top lot. They're under. We got Pastor Gergis in the feeder sport is right behind him, and one of the cars that we would be expecting to be right at the front today.
Indeed, yeah, and I remember them from obviously from the last round at Sebring. They were down near the back of LMP1 from memory in room 1, so their pace wasn't really there, and they did seem to be struggling to really keep the top guys in the class. So you're not wrong, they've got a bit of an uphill battle. They've got a very, very high quality field that they're going against. So hopefully for their sake, though, they'll be able to take the fight to the field around them and get themselves in that top 10.
Absolutely. The top 3 though in the standings, which is just to point out to Jimmy, it's a bit of a mess on the standings. I don't know if he knows that, but at least points wise, we obviously have Feeder Sport Poland continuing their great form. They're on top. They took their first win back in Fuji and have taken every win since. So they are on top form. Obviously with the win back in the 12 hours of Sebring, thanks to none other than me. Sorry. But yes, that car, they are super fast in that car, so do expect them to be right at the front of this order. The second team is the number 8 car, winning the first race of the season and continuing to stay in second, which they lost back in Interlagos. And now the third place car, with 106 points, 2 points ahead of Team RGPL, is 3 Wide.
Indeed, yeah, so very interesting, and I'm just looking through everyone now on their laps, of course, and their very first laps of the sessions are all getting underway. I'm pretty sure the first one to finish will be Gergis.
Gergis.
Yeah,
Gergis.
he's the first one, on a lap, so he's already gotten past Smarter, he got past him on the out lap, so Gergis will be the first one round as he comes around the back end of the circuit. You can see obviously the dynamic racing lines as the track gets rubbered up, of course, by factor 2, so you can see quite clear lines already from all the practice that's been going on pre-qualifying. So Gergis now coming across. Let's have a look. What's he going to do, I wonder?
Long run to the line here.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
34.1. That's a good first lap time on a fairly green track. We would be expecting the lower end of the 33s towards the end of the session, so
yeah, so we'd be expecting that to change, of course, as the track rubbers in, of course, as we go along. Smarter was 1.8 off, so quite a ways off, and it looks like everyone so far going through is beating him. Let's have a look at Lars Brugman, and he's about to come through as well. Yeah, Pete beats him as well. So everyone who's gone through has actually beaten Smarter's time, except for one car, which is the number 27 car. So looking Yeah, might be a bit of a challenge box for those guys. And oops, Smarter just looking like he just made a bit of a hash brown on that lap, so he's gone back to the garage. So we keep an eye on them and see how they go as this session develops. Hopefully they can kind of find a groove and get themselves further up the order.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, obviously, the previous round we actually had the change of car models, which allowed various teams to change which car they were with, which meant that Luca Radielli, or well, not Luca Radielli himself, but the GT Italia outfit, teams like that, moved from the Revolution into something like an Audi or a Porsche. And this GT Italia car, this Scuderia GT Italia car, currently in 8th, was one that really heavily benefited from that. And so I'd be expecting to see Radielli somewhere actually in the top 5 come towards the end of the session. He's currently a couple of tenths up. Of course, times at this point in the session don't necessarily matter as heavily as they will shortly. Gustina's also 5 tenths up on his previous best. He's still 3 tenths down on Gergis, but expect Gustina to move up in the Ger racing car as he comes around the final corner. And down this it's such a long run to the line. Actually, it's painful. It's such because you're just like, oh, was this a good lap? He does improve, stays 6th though, but improves by 1/4 of a second. But yeah, it's such a long run out of the final turn to that start-finish line.
Yeah.
So if you're close to a car come the end of the race, that is going to create some interesting finishes.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. It is really, really long run to the end there. It's a bit different from the other tracks we've seen, where it's a much shorter run, but you just kind of see them come out there and you're like, all right, they're coming across the line, and it's a good 10 seconds or so until they get there. So even in the P1, so you can imagine the GTs, how long that's going to take. So yeah, no, long run, and what they'll probably get used to. But yeah, no, very interesting track. As you say, obviously doesn't exist anymore in the real world, but which is a real shame because I did really enjoy Istanbul Park. But anyway, that's just a personal ribble of mine. So yeah, but yeah, no, it is now Christian Michael on top of the order. Just beat Gergis on that lap, I'm fairly sure it was, with a 34.085. So the number, what is it? Number 3 P1 car now in the lead of the field. But as you say, it is obviously very early on, so this field will probably change quite a lot over the next 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, of course, Christian Michel, the now defunct outfit TXL, he was a member of that when they won the championship in the previous season. So obviously, moving over to Revolution has given them an awful lot of pace. But yep, they currently move themselves up onto a P1 of P1, which is always nice to say. But yeah, expect that car to be nice and high up. I'm not sure what Mr. Gergis is doing. He's currently on an outlap, which we'll see a lot of people on. Canastracci round the final corner. He's currently just a tenth off of the best of the session, 1/4 of a second up on his personal best. He comes towards the line. Is he going to improve? He does, but really not by very much. Currently in 3rd position, though, is the Texas Drivers LMP1 car. This is another one that actually benefited from the move. I believe they were in a Revolution, and now are in an Audi. Which is a very white Audi, I must say. At least from the back. If you look at it from the back, it just looks white with a blue bit on the top. But yeah, that Texas Drivers car continues to look strong since this move to Audi, so that's always good.
Yeah.
Lars Brugman actually improves 4th.
Yeah. So only 2 tenths off too, so it's very close to the top of the order.
Yeah, sorry, Burt went on to pole. Marius Burt in the 3-wide car.
Yeah.
He's currently holding up the Insped car, but I think that'll be anything major.
Yeah, no, for sure. And yeah, no, so he's got the lead now by a tenth, and it's 2 tenths at the top, so the top 4 are very close actually, 2.5 tenths between them all. And 5th and 6th are very close as well, they're only separated by 0.04 of a second. And it's about half a second back to Eddie Agostino there in 7th, so bit of a split really. The field's kind of in their own, they're all in little groups at the moment pace-wise, so yeah, it's very interesting. And as we were talking about, the number 7 car at the moment is still off the back, 2 seconds off on the fastest lap, so gonna have to find some pace out somewhere, else they're not looking like making that top 10 if they keep on this current pace.
Yeah, the number 30 Vida Sport Poland car, your championship leader, 1/4 of a second up in the 2nd sector. It seemed to be this final sector where Marius Burt found most of his time though, as he is only he's a little bit up on himself, not very much. Did make a mistake at turn 9 and 10, and big mistake through the final bit, so he's going to pull off of this lap and give that a break. Same with Lars Brugman, who was also up in the 1st sector. But yeah, the 1st sector for Marius Burt seemed fairly weak in comparison to his competitors. If you look at Christian Michel through the 1st sector, he is actually a 1/4 of a second up on Marius Bert's first sector, but only 1/10 up on himself. But keep an eye on this 003 car as it comes around towards the end of the second sector and then up into the final sector, the final little complex, and see if he can go and move himself onto provisional pole position, currently held by Marius Bert on a 133.962. He is 4/10 up in that middle sector.
It's a
Christian, going
big,
fast.
big gain. And a big gain that is. So looking good so far. Let's have a look here. He's got a good line, a little bit wide. Missed the apex a little bit through the hairpins. They'll cost him a 10th or 2. He gets that apex nailed there though. Go out wide, nice. Gets that apex good as well. Looks like he got a pretty solid exit. A little bit maybe of the rear end coming up. That's okay. Let's have a look as he runs down this long, long straight towards the line. Surely it's got to improve though. Yeah. There it goes. Yeah, 33.7. So there you go.
Did lose a bit on himself in the final sector though, I think. Or no, he lost a bit on Bert in the final sector. It's because it was just confusing. Lost a couple of tenths on Bert, which shows how strong that Porsche is in that final sector, as Marius Bert is actually 2/10 up on himself coming up towards that final complex corner. So if he can nail it the same way that he does, he will move himself not onto provisional pole position. He'll still be a little bit off, but he'll certainly be a bit closer as he comes around the final corner and down towards the line is Marius Bert, going to improve himself. Currently 33.962. Can he move faster than 33.733? Comes to the line, does not improve.
Ooh.
No
lost
cigar.
time.
Yeah, he lost 2
Yeah,
tenths
he
that
actually
one.
lost. Yeah, lost time. I think it was actually that hairpin again. It looks like he went a bit deep as well, same as Christian Michael. So
Yeah.
interesting, isn't it? Yeah, a few of them
Kinda
just missing the apex down.
Yeah, kind of stretch you to 4th, just to point that out as a final move. Let's say that car's looking pretty good.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah, they're looking all right. They're only half a second really off the lead. So, yeah, doing pretty well. Lars Brugman as well is just behind them, going on quite nicely. He's pretty much almost exactly half a second off in the number 8 Doug Henson machine. So they're up within the top few as well. So that's good to see.
Yeah, the number 8 car not really prided itself on qualifying too much this season, although it's not, no, never mind. I'm reading this. It actually did pretty well. It's had 5th at Silverstone, 2nd at Fuji, 2nd at Interlagos, pole at Spa, and 3rd at Sebring. So, yeah, it's going pretty strong. That A car. Never mind. Ignore what I'm just saying. Still, this is Lars's first day in the car. He turned laps about 2 and a bit hours ago for the first time around here, and obviously has quite a bit of pace. Kieran Parkin in the other DHR car, sorry for the bias, in 11th at the moment. We would expect him to be a bit higher, but he only knew that he was qualifying about 30 minutes before the session, so he's currently doing a fairly good job. But I'll quickly run you through the top 10 as we have 13 and a bit minutes to go in this session, and this is where this is all going to change up. So the top 10 I read out now will be very, very unlikely to be the top 10 towards the end of the session. It's currently Revolution Racing on pole position for Christian Michel, and then it's the 3-wide Motorsport Marius Bert car behind. Feedersport Polo Championship leader in 3rd position. Texas drivers in 4th, doing a fantastic job here at Istanbul. Then it's the Doug Henson Racing number 8, followed by the Doug Henson Racing number 9. Great job from Nathaniel Lupson there, as that is Lars Brugman that moves up into 2nd position. You're 2nd of the championship, now 2nd on the session. Scuderia GT Italia in 7th, and then Eddie Gastuna for Jur Racing in 8th, Champion Racing in 9th, and Zednak Smada for Team RGPL in 10th position. That team is down a driver this round. I'm pretty sure it is just this round, which Max Melamed has been... Yes, it's just this round. Max Melamed has been benched for this round. Will return at the 6 hours of Nürburgring in just over a month's time.
Yeah, so looking pretty good, isn't it, at the moment? What is it, 1.4 seconds in the top 10, so the spread's getting a lot smaller, as you say. It's probably to be expected as everyone gets used to the track, and the track rubbers up, of course, as I think that was one of the cars returning, which drops Smarter back outside the top 10. I think Campbell actually just beat him as well, so yeah, so they're still struggling along, those guys, to get in the top 10, so hopefully, boys, Smarter had a little bit of a moment through through the triple left-hander, but yeah,
Christian Michel also spun out of his lap, so he's going to have to escape back to pit lane.
Oh yeah, it looks like it was in the same area too, so that's interesting. So yeah, it seems like yeah, possibly. Yeah, it seems to me that the one to watch, as I said, that hairpin, I think will be where I'll be watching, because it's twice now 2 of the guys that near the top of the field have had issues down there with some just missing the apex a bit. So they seem to be just was one of them I just saw went a bit wide too. So yeah, they seem to be just struggling a bit maybe to get used to the grip. Possibly they're not quite used to where to brake, and they're being a bit too adventurous on the brakes down to the hairpin, and that's costing them a tenth or two. As if they keep doing that, and especially towards the end of the session, that sort of little error could cost them pole position possibly at the end.
Yeah, we have some slightly, from what I've seen, some slightly untapped potential within the number 9 car at the moment, Nathaniel Lupson, who comes through the final corner. He was super close to Christian Michel's first time to the first sector. So there is some serious pace within this number 9 car that Lupson is trying to find. He made a bit of a mistake, a bit of a hash of the second sector. His final sector was all right, but he missed quite a bit in the second sector. So watch that 9 car to maybe move up a bit later on in this session. Of course, they just managed to sneak through back in Sebring thanks to other people's track limits excursions, of which around here we don't really expect too many places, with the exception of the exit of turn 8. Oh, that's something interesting. By half a second up on himself, and we know how good he is in the final sector, Marius Burt is coming through that final sector now. He is looking like he's on a stonker of a lap time. He's got Christian Michel directly in front of him, who obviously is on an outlap. But watch this. As this 3 wide car comes down to the line, they have been on pole position at Interlagos before this season. Are they going to go into provisional pole position again? Yes, they do. 33.561 for Marius Burt. The 143 car goes back onto provisional pole position here at Interlagos.
Yeah, no, that was a stonker of a lap indeed. You're not wrong there. So fantastic lap he's got already. That's 2/10 almost he's got now on Michel behind him. So absolutely stonker of a lap for sure. And as you said, I mean, we're expecting the end time to be sort of low 33. So that's surely going to be close to the top time, even by the end of the session as the track continues to rubber up. So yeah, very impressive from Burt. And that's, just a super duper lap indeed. So the guys around him have now got a bit of a task to try and beat that lap, as it looked like it was an absolute on the limit lap to me. He even got the I just caught him as he went through the hairpin, and he got that pretty much nailed too. So yeah, looked like a very, very impressive lap indeed. Yeah,
that was a very, very nice lap. We all know how fast he is in that final sector, and he's still found time himself through that final sector. So yeah, that 3 wide Porsche looking pretty strong at this point in the session. He's actually a second clear now of 7th place. So that shows how good a lap time that is, considering how competitive this field is. However, we are in this final 8 minutes, and we know how much this track, all of the tracks this season have all rubbered up, especially when we've had a drive session. And this is the point now where you'll expect the drivers to take the most out. Over a longer session in practice, we were seeing some of these drivers get down even into the 33.2. So we know there's a lot of pace still left in some of these cars. Noting that being the number 8 car, Christian Michel still got plenty of time. And one of them that's a little bit further down than I would expect at this present moment is Pashalis Gergis in 5th position, Feedersport Poland. So I'd expect that car's got plenty more time in its pocket to extract within this final 8 minutes.
Yeah, indeed. No, yeah, from what I've seen, obviously Spa, they were very impressive, and even at Sebring they had really impressive pace. So, as you say, they're a very, very quick lineup they have there. So, you'd expect them to be further up the field, as 6/10 off seems like quite a long way for them. So, yeah, you're not wrong. I would assume that they'll probably find more pace in these last 8 minutes or so. So, yeah, we'll keep an eye on them for sure, because they're probably one of the guys that might move up the most here in the session. They are 6/10 off the lead. So, yeah, they've got some time to find, but I wouldn't be surprised if they find that pace in this last section of the qualifying session.
Yeah, more poles than anyone else to that team, being Feedersport Poland. They've had 2 poles, and the other pole position sitters have been PRL, who I don't think, are they even here? They're not here. The PRL pole back in Silverstone have really struggled for pace ever since, and the Doug Henson Racing number 8 car has been another one to take a pole position previously back in Spa. And then the 3 wide, which currently is on your pole position. So those are the 4 cars that have actually taken a pole position this season. But Feedersport, with 2 to their name, I'm pretty sure they'll be sitting in there hoping to take a 3rd here today. But is it going to be them? Is it going to be 3 wide? Or can it be anyone else on this field? Christian Michel said he's looking pretty strong, but we have absolutely no idea who's going to be grabbing pole position here. I say that the pace I've seen in practice, I would expect so many more cars in this final. We're approaching the final stint of this session to move up comfortably further up this order.
Yeah. And I've just noticed as well, the gap between 7th and 11th is ridiculously close. It's literally a 10th between 7th to 11th. They are just that close at the back end of the 10. So really close there. And actually, Kieran Park going to be noticing. He's been slowly
Ooh.
creeping up as you would
Sorry.
expect from him. Yeah,
Sorry,
he's
Christian
just been...
Michel to the line. Sorry.
Oh, yeah,
Is this going to be it?
Oh,
Oh, so close, 2,000ths of a second. Christian Michel misses out on going on to provisional pole.
God.
Oh, he messed up a little bit in that final sector. Sorry to cut across you there, but I saw those sector times lighting up. That looked pretty nice. A little mistake in that final sector, though, and 2,000ths off is Christian Michel from Marius Burt. That'll be a sigh of relief there for Marius Burt. Absolutely. Watch out for Pashalis Gergis, though. Through the first sector, he was 2/10 up on himself, 1/10 off of Marius Burt, and through the second sector, he is still a 10th up. So keep an eye on Pashalis Gergis, the Feeder Sport Poland kart, number 30. As we've said, pole positions to his name 2 this season to that kart. Is this going to be provisionally the 3rd?
Let's have a look. He's coming through now. Look pretty good through the hairpin. Again, he got the apex nicely there. Didn't clobber it too much. It's always good. You don't want to unsettle the car as he goes through the last corner. Again, nice and clean there. It was very, very tidy through that last section, which is really nice to see. So he comes to the line. Surely he's going to improve at least by a few tenths. And there you go. Oh, wow.
Off,
About
yeah.
half a second. Wow, that's big, big time. As you said, I mean, we expected them to improve, and it looks like they're proving that now. So they're only 0.135 off the lead. It's so close between the top 3. Like, that is really close.
Yeah, absolutely. That was that was a very nice, tidy final sector. I think he missed a little bit. I don't think he's got that extra little bit that people like Burt and, of course,
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, of course, and Michelle as well, of course, has in that final sector. Yeah, no, he did seem. I was going to say, he did seem very conservative in that last sector. If anything, he seemed to. Yeah, he didn't really clobber the apexes as much as Michelle and Burt have through that last sector. So he seemed quite contained in the last sector. So if he can really sort of find that the motivation or the confidence to really push the limits a little bit more, I reckon he could possibly challenge for that pole. But whether he can find that in the next 4 minutes, we'll have to wait and see, I guess.
Absolutely. We've got Marius Burt on a lap here. Is he going to be good through the first sector? No, he's about a 10th off. Christian Michel, though, oh no, he's on. He started his lap, I think.
I think that was just, the number 68 car.
Yeah, Strategy improved. Absolutely. The Texas driver's up to 4th now.
Just jumped Lars Brugman there. It's only I think it's only 200ths of a second between those two, so really close in that battle for 4th. As I think Lars is coming to the end of a lap as well. I'm not sure if he's improving.
No,
but...
this is an out lap. Remember, these guys are all going to be starting their final laps of this session around about now. We've only got just over 3 minutes to go here. Is anyone going to be able to challenge that pole position time from Marius Burt? It's very close at the top. Can anyone get amongst them? Can anyone improve faster than a 33.561? We know some of these cars have got that pace, but let's see if they can show it in this final section. Let's keep an eye on Christian Michel coming down towards the second sector split. He is currently he missed out so much in that second sector. He was a 10th up on himself. He's very close to Burt's final sector, and we know he lost a lot of time in this sector, but I think he's too far off of his personal best to improve enough through here. We'll see if he's conservative. He's nicely on that line through the hairpin. Bit too much curve there, but I think that's all right. I think he'll pass with that. It looks all right. It looks a bit too tidy. I think that'll be an improvement, but we'll see as Christian Michel comes to line. Remember, he only needs to find 2,000ths of a second. Is he going to do it? No, he isn't, but he did find time on his previous best in that final sector. So keep an eye on him. Lars Brugman through the first sector, 6,000ths up on himself, 1/10 up on Marius Burt. Comes now through the chicane and onto the back straight. And we'll see what he's like up towards the second. Yeah, we'll see what he's like through the second sector split. He is going to be. He's still a 10th up on himself. Lost a little bit to Burt. We'll see what he's like through this final complex of corners.
Even if he only improves by a 10th, he would theoretically jump the car ahead of him. So he would gain a spot if he does keep that 10th. So let's have a look through the last sector. Look good through the hairpin. Oh, missed the apex a bit there through the right hand. It just went a bit too deep. And all right through the last corner, but I think he may have lost a 10th or two just by going a little wide there. So it may not be an improvement. But let's have a look as he comes to the line. Is it going to be improvement? It is.
It is
an
improvement.
Yeah, and he found more time, I think, in that last sector. So impressive.
Yeah, it shows how much untapped to win that final sector there is for Lars Brugman, the Dutchman. Let's have a look. Nathaniel Lipson to the line. He's in the number 9 car, currently in 6th position. He is going to improve his time, gets within half a second of pole position, stays 6th though in that number 9 car. This is a great improvement for that car. I say after struggling to get into the 12 hours of Sebring's Room 1 and just doing it a little bit through a bit of stewarding help, Nathaniel Lipson doing a great job at this moment. I say half a second within pole position. That's a nice little improvement there. As we've also got Canastracci, who's a 10th up on pole through the first sector. This Texas driver's car coming up towards one of the most infamous corners around this circuit, turn 8, all the way around. I'm pretty sure it's flat all the way through there. And let's see if nice and clean on the exit of turn 8. That's important. It's very easy to run wide, and we know how tough that disciplinary committee is on those naughty exceeding track limits. That looked messy through that chicane. We'll see what he's like coming up towards this second sector split. Is he going to be up? He is still up on pole position and himself. So keep an eye on Danny Castracci through this final sector.
Indeed, let's have a look as he goes down the hairpin. Let's see if he gets it nailed. Looks like, look, that
bit of a
hug
lock
that
up, but it's all right.
Yeah, and
too much speed through there.
wide.
Too much speed through there. It's going to cost him all the way through here. I say, I see he's like towards the line though.
Yeah, hopefully also be an improvement at least for his sake.
This is the final lap of his session, and he does it. He does improve 0.2 of a second off of pole position, but still 4th place. Lars Brugman in the pit lane will stay in 5th, which I'm sure he'll be pretty chuffed with considering how many laps he's done today. The final lap for Marius Burt through this final sector. Is he going to improve? He is currently half a tenth off of his provisional pole position time. He's going to stick as far right as possible, the straightest line. And is he going to improve? He does improve by nearly half a tenth. Let's see if Christian Michel can do it. He's up on the best, still 0.2 off of his PB through that second sector. So that just shows how much pace that 3 wide car has through this final sector. Although this is looking pretty tidy. See what Christian Michel does towards the line. He ran wide there. I think that was just about legal, but just about. Let's see if he does improve. He does not.
Yeah. There you go. And I just caught Gerges there's going wide to the hairpin.
Too wide.
Yeah, so he's given up on that as well. So looks like that'll be the top of the order at least. So I think it's just a few guys at the back end who are doing laps now.
Kieran
so yeah.
Parkin will be one of those. We'll see if he can do anything. I don't think he will be able to. Unfortunately, I can't see his sector splits through the final sector. He comes though currently in 12th position outside of room 1. Currently is Kieran Parkin in the number 7 car. He'll really want to move himself up into that top lot. But let's see down towards the line. Although I think he's actually starting a lap. Is he starting a lap?
Oh no. Oh,
he does improve.
Yeah.
But yeah, just because he switched on his lights, I was a bit confused by that. But still, 12th position. We'll see if he'll move up. Obviously, know that the order here is very provisional, and obviously it is subject to change due to people's track limits interpretations. But yes, currently though, we do have a 3 wide on their second pole position of the season. They haven't been on pole since Interlagos. We'll see what they can do. They've been struggling a little bit throughout this season, but they had a good race back in Silverstone, and they had a good race, to be honest, back in the previous round. They did have a bit of awkward moment through some traffic, got some serious damage, and I think they finished second at the last round.
I believe so.
Yes, they did. They finished second at the last round. So they are showing a bit more pace come towards the end of the season. They struggled, to be honest, they struggled at Interlagos where they had pole position. So, we'll see what that car can do from its second pole position of the season. Of course, as I say, the pace has been building a little bit. The race pace, the racecraft has been building in that car throughout the season. So we'll see if that 3 wide can convert that pole position into its first win of the season. Of course, only 2 teams have actually won in LMP1 this season, being the number 8 Doug Henson car and, of course, the number 30 Feeder Sport Poland car. So we'll see if anyone can break up that pie at the front.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that develops. Obviously, as you said, it's a bit provisional with Stuart. Stuart's will have a look at the track limits, and we'll see if there's any penalties or anything to be given out there. But aside from that, provisionally, it's looking like it could be quite interesting to see how that all goes, see how the race pace converts as well. I noticed as well, at least provisionally, Smarter and those guys there in that car didn't get into the top 10. The number 7 team RGPL car, I think they were 12th or 13th, I believe, at the end there. So they didn't quite make it into room 1. So there'll be room 2 if the results stay as they are.
Yeah, the thing is only 5 teams realistically looking like they'll be into room 2, which means there could be some fairly easy points to picking up in that if some of the teams in it do well. But still, we are going to be getting ready now for LMP2 qualifying. Now, this one, we know how competitive LMP2 is as a field. We've got 19 teams out there at the moment. And this is going to be a tough session. I believe it's Anthony Jans who's had every pole position, with the exception of the previous one, I believe, because I think it was the Game Area 51 car. No, they had pole. Never mind. It has been Anthony Jans in pole position every time this season. I almost got my hopes up. I think it was provisional for the Game Area 51. They had a 1-second penalty for track limit excursions. But yeah, so far, all very, very big contrasts to the previous qualifying session that we've had, where it's been only one team has had 2 poles this season. Now it's obviously 2 provisionally, whereas in this series, one team has had all 5, being Team Spirit Racing, and they are, of course, leading this championship. So, I can't look past them. I cannot look past them.
Yeah, no, with 5 poles, you can't really say they surely aren't the favourites here. So we'll be looking at them for sure. Yeah, Jans, of course, we know Jans obviously has proven this season ridiculously fast, really, in that P2 car. Just super, super talented in that car, and just that team has just been near invincible, it would seem, this season so far, especially qualifying-wise. So we'll keep an eye on them. They'll obviously be the favourites for this session. And interestingly enough, I noticed, I was watching them as everyone was going out, they're the last car out of the lane too, so that's interesting. So,
yeah.
They
were
the last car. Now, but...
Yeah. They were the last car to join this session, with the exception of Hadlack, who's just joined. So that could explain a little bit why. But, it doesn't matter too early in this session. You don't need to get the banker laps not too important. I will quickly run you through the top 3 in the standings, which is Team Spirit Racing, with 4 wins to their name. They did not win at Interlagos, but they did win at Silverstone, at Fuji, the mess that was Spa, and the race at Sebring. They did really, really well there. SimHQ Motorsports are in second, the number 29 car. 1 win to their name. They picked up that win that Team Spirit Racing didn't have. Interlagos, and Scuderia GT Italia, who have had a couple of podiums this season, and they were actually they have used this top 3 nicely, or to their advantage rather, in the fact of they've actually qualified last in the LMP2s twice. In fact, if they actually qualified outside of that top 10 on the previous 2 occasions. But obviously, with them being in the top 3, they have an automatic transfer up into that top lot. So that's your top 3 in the standings. And a couple of teams to look out for throughout this would be Magenta Warriors Racing, who picked up their first podium. Not first podium. Oh, yeah, no, it was their first podium, because they actually won race 2, or room 2 back in Fuji. But they finished runner-up back in Sebring. So keep an eye on that car, as well as the kind of newly formed, rebranded Atlantic Motorsports car. We know how fast that car can be, so keep an eye on those couple, and yeah, we'll see how this session unfolds. Again, 25 minutes like the previous session, and we'll see who can get onto pole position and find it very hard to look past Anthony Jans.
Yeah, I mean, as we've said, he's just dominated this season. That car has in that team, so surely I think they'll be the favourites for this one. But it'll be interesting to see who can be the next one in the queue, if he does end up getting pole like they've been doing all season long. And that'll be where I'll be probably focusing on the second, third and below sort of fights to see where that all goes, and who will be in room 1 and who will be in room 2. It'll be very interesting to see as we go along. As I said, 21 cars, very big pool of drivers in the P2 class, very large field. So going to be quite a busy session, as there'll be quite a few cars on track, so traffic could be a bit more of an issue as it was against P1. And yeah, so we'll keep an eye on this and we'll see how it all goes as the banker laps begin as we start this session.
Absolutely. Kyushu Motorsports currently on that provisional pole position with the 07 car. They actually didn't have any car into room 1 at the previous round. After I'm pretty sure this 07 car's been into room 1 on it missed out once. It missed out once. So it's only missed out at Fuji. Has been in Fuji and Sebring now. But yeah, they'll be looking to get back into room 1, continue that form, and not have a 50-50 room 1, room 2 split. Of course, room 2 in this, you're going to actually have a hard time because it's 11 cars in room 2. So it's a tough time for these LMP2 cars. So they really need to get into that room 1 to secure themselves some decent points in this championship, as we are closing in on that finale. Only 3 rounds to go here in season 8. As big shot, Anthony Ans onto pole.
There it is. 7/10 too. That's just pretty ridiculous, really, just how much ahead of the field he is. But it's interesting, that battle. Oh, someone just jumped across the curb. That was the number 137 car there. Just had a little bit of a moment through the curb, so it was interesting to see. But yeah, second to we'll say, wow, it even goes down to say 9th. That's 4/10. Second to 7th second to 9th. Speaking English, I swear. Is 4/10 is the gap between all those guys, so it's pretty close already in that battle for second spot. So that could be really interesting to see how that all goes. And as we said, I mean, with the room 2 being so large, that's going to be really fascinating to see that battle at the back end of room 1 to see who can claim those last few spots, and everyone else gets relegated, of course, to room 2. So we're watching with interest. But yeah, already I'm quite fascinated to see how this all goes because of how close it is towards the top.
Yeah, this session is going to develop quite nicely towards those final moments, but it is just hard to see anyone getting on pace with Anthony Ans. That, as you say how close the field is behind Anthony Ans, and you see how much of an advantage he has. He's just we saw this back in Silverstone. He's stupendously fast in these cars, and that is a word, I promise. But yeah, I just don't see it. I just don't see anyone quite getting onto it. As Greg Hall through the first sector, currently in the 122 car, currently a quarter of a second up on himself and a 10th up on Anthony Ans. Not saying that he's going to P1, but considering how close the order is behind him, as you've said, second to 9th being very close, this will be a very important lap time for this car.
Definitely a banker in as well, just so at least they've got that cushion if they do have a bit of an issue, throughout the sessions develop. So important lap here as he comes along. And
it's looking good. It's looking good. Right. It's looking good.
Yeah.
Half a 10th off of Anthony Ans through that second sector, but 7/10 up on himself. So this car is looking pretty strong.
Yeah. As he goes through, let's have a look. He gets that. Yeah, that's not bad. Missed it slightly, the apex. Not too bad, really. He gets that nicely. Yeah, pretty clean. Clean so far. I don't know if it's quite... We missed that apex, though.
Missed that apex a little bit. That cost him.
Yeah. Possibly being a little bit conservative, maybe, for that last sector. Well, look, anyway, it should surely still improve. Surely it was still a pretty clean last sector. And whoa!
Yeah, it does go to second. Yeah. He didn't. So considering how messy, well, not messy, but how much speed was kind of lost in that final sector, that does say a lot about how fast that car is, and how much further. Because I mean, he still actually had a very similar sector time to his previous occasion through there. So the whole car can move quite, I suspect, quite high up, as Anthony Ans is a whopping 8 thousandths up on himself in the second sector, coming down towards the line. That's how you do that final complex of corners. And up towards the line. Yeah, is he going to improve? No.
Ooh, there we go. Interesting as well. Borja Milan also improved.
Yeah.
So he's only basically 4/10 off the lead as well. So yeah, getting pretty close. A bit closer up front. So interesting to see the guys behind there actually finding some pace. So we'll see if they can take the fight to Jans. I mean, again, as we've said, Jans has pretty much dominated the qualifying in this category. So you would think he's got plenty more pace in the bank to call on to get himself ahead. But keep an eye on it. It'd be interesting to see if someone can take the fight to him, because that would definitely throw a bit of a spanner in the works compared to the usual kind of running of things in P2 here.
Yeah, Kasper Gobodachik in the number 24 car, and yes, I did just say that really quickly, so it sounds less wrong. He's 6 thousandths off. He messed up that final sector a little bit, which is where he lost an awful lot of time last time through. But he is going to run towards the line. He improves by 200. Lost an awful lot of time in that final sector. He just kind of didn't quite get the right line, whether that's a mistake or doesn't quite know where to find that extra bit of time.
Just
As
see, I guess,
Borja
as the
Milan to the
session goes
final
on.
sector. Keep an eye on Borja
Ooh.
Milan through this final sector. As
Okay,
he
ooh, we
is
went-
nearly 2/10 off of his best. 2/10 up on his best, 10th off of Jan. So watch him through
Ooh.
here.
We took a bit of a double stab there at the apex there. So he went a bit too early and had to straighten and go again. So that's going to cost him a little bit of time, a little bit possibly slow through that final sector. Let's have a look anyway. He goes to the line, he
2/10.
improves, yeah.
Go to second.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Bad at all.
Unfortunately, Anthony Jans is about to mess up people's days by being a 10th up on himself through Sector 2, no problem. Runs towards the line, 40.610, his current best. Oh, he doesn't improve.
Wow.
Oh, he doesn't ruin everyone's day. It's fine. The day is saved.
Just waiting for the last bit where he just finds a stonker of a lap and then just beats everyone by a country
exactly.
mile.
Exactly. He's just trying to get people's hopes up.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. He's looking quick and he's deliberately going slow to the last sector just to get everyone going, oh, we can totally get it this time round.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100% that.
But
As
yeah, it's very
Tom
interesting.
Guardia comes to the line in the number 11 car. It was one of the cars that doesn't improve. But you know, it's another one that's pretty quick, up there in 5th position at the moment, so it's one to look out for.
It's interesting, and then that gap between the field has kind of spread out a bit. Obviously, Milan and Hall finding more pace, so it's a bit more spread now. But still, it's only 10th, 11th separated by 3/10 at the moment. So a little bit spread actually. It's 3/10 between those two, and it's another 3/10 back to 12th. So
Chiampa here to the line. Oh, goes to 4th. Improves by nearly a second on himself.
Wow.
We know that this 69 Odin racing car can be pretty quick, so that is a pretty hefty improvement there, up into 4th position. Also, watch out for this 07 car. 4/10 up on his best through sector 1. That is nearly a tenth and a half, nearly 2/10 through the first sector up on Anthony Jans. So watch out for this 07 car as it comes through turn 8 and down towards this chicane. This car going pretty quick. We'll see if he can do this one tidy. This one's been a bit of a struggle for some of these boys. Misses that apex ever so slightly, but it looks all right. I don't think he'll lose too much time from missing that apex. See what he's like towards the line, towards that line. Half a second up on himself. So this 07 car currently in 5th position, currently on a 41.210. Watch him through this final sector. Misses that apex just a little bit. He's going to be nice and tidy through here.
throws it very wide there. To try and,
that was unnecessarily wide.
Yeah.
That's cost him.
It just cost his line and flow through that section. So have a look anyway. He could still improve at least. He does, but he'll only
Does
get 4th
improve.
instead of- yeah. Lost a good tenth or two at least in that last sector because it was only improved by about or just over 3/10 I think it was. So
Yeah, that was it was looking good until that final little bit, but still he makes a little bit of a mistake there through the first sector on this time by is Borja Milan currently a 10th off of himself and a 10th and a bit up on Anthony Jans from the first sector. So I'm assuming Anthony Jans not struggling, but maybe not getting the most out of the car through that first sector at this moment. As I say that, I've just looked at his sector split. Never mind, he's 2/10 up on himself through the first sector.
of course.
He's made a little bit of a mistake there as Anthony Jans through the chicane, so it's a bit of a struggle for some of these drivers. But we'll watch Borja Milan. No, he's lost a bit too much time there. Anthony Jans lost a 10th as well. As I said, he did struggle through that chicane there, but he's still a 10th up, so I don't think he really cares.
Doesn't really need to when he's got all the poles throughout the season.
No, I see. Sometimes that can hinder you a little bit because although you've got the confidence boost, maybe you're a bit too like, oh, it's fine, I'll be fine, you know, this, that, and the other, and then you know it's possible to let your guard down.
Definitely, yeah.
That is an improvement from Borja Milan.
Yeah,
that is an
but
improvement
then
by Anthony Jans. So Borja though looking good at this moment. Oh, here we go. The 07 car, is he tidy through this final section? Oh, no. Looking good, but still comes towards the line. 40.80880. Does improve a little bit. Again, messy through that final sector. If he could tidy up that final sector, this 07 car can legitimately be challenging for this pole position.
Yeah, for sure, because he definitely lost at least 10th, at the very least, with that little sort of moment out of the last corner. So, yeah, definitely more pace in that car. So watch them with interest as we now are not too far off getting into 10 minutes. Got just over 10 minutes to go now. So we're heading towards that latter phase where everyone's pace will be coming down and the track will be gripping up. So expect a lot of movement in this last bit as the field is getting closer. I think the top 10 now, just under a second separating the top 10. So it's relatively close between those guys. And yeah, the battle at the back end of that for 10th and 11th, they're only separated by under a 10th at the moment. So that battle for the end of room 1 could be quite interesting as we get into this last phase of qualifying.
Absolutely, and it'll always be a bit that we will focus on just to make sure that we know who is going to be in or out of this top 10. Of course, very, very important here in this LMP1 category as Hadlack in the 75 car is actually a tenth up on his best through Sector 1, or half a tenth up on his best through Sector 1. So he's finding a bit of time. I say it seems like Sector 1 is the one that Anthony Yan seems to struggle with most. It appears. Darian Bailey in the 121 car is looking good. He's currently in the 11th spot, so he needs to improve. Missed a little bit in that second sector, as Chiampa is not going to improve. He's going to be just starting another lap, I think. Building himself up. Again, we know how fast this car can be.
Ooh. Bailey just being, I'm just watching Bailey's a little bit wide. Ooh, wow, very wide in the last corner. So, yeah.
Maybe he's lining himself up for another lap?
Possibly, yeah.
I really don't know.
Yeah, who knows, yeah. But yeah, not going to improve, no real surprise.
Yeah, the 137 car that's currently in 11th place was actually purple slightly through the first sector by 7,000 of a second, was up on the best, but messed up that chicane, something rotten. I only caught the end of it, so we'll keep an eye. The other, though, his teammate, the other RGPL car, currently in 13th position, the 138 car, currently 2 tenths up on his best, 5 tenths off of pole. So keep an eye on this car, the 138 RGPL car, through this final complex of corners. Is he going to follow that trick of running completely wide for no good reason? Misses the apex by about a car width. Cool. To the line now, I reckon this might be an improvement. Currently on a 141.733, goes to a 141.595. And 14.
Closing up. It's closing up on that 10 again. 10 to 14 is covered by about a tenth. So that battle back into room 1's really spicing up as everyone's starting to find their pace here at the back end of the session.
Absolutely. Through the second sector, though, Anthony Yan's 2 tenths up on his best. Porsche Milan, though, through the first sector, 2 tenths up on his best through the first sector. As Greg Hall also improved into third position. Anthony Yanzo through this final complex of corners, he's doing it nice right over that curb. That is nice. Down towards this line. Will this number 45 car improve his time? I would be shocked if he didn't. To the line, 140.133, currently your provisional pole position, but do not rule out Borja Milan. He is only a tenth off of Anthony Yan through that final sector, nearly 4 tenths up on himself. Keep an eye on Borja Milan going through this final. Oh, he's made a mistake. That's a bit of a boo-boo there for Borja Milan. The flatline racing car, the number 13.
And
he's made a big mess. That's going to be that lap toast, my friend.
Yeah, it just went a bit too, just looked like he was pushing too hard, just trying to find too much pace through the hairpin, and unfortunately went a bit too deep, and that's just all you need to do to lose all that time, that last sector. It's really, looks to be very challenging. It is very challenging, that last sector. If you stuff up one corner, that ruins your flow throughout the rest of that last sector, so you've really got to nail it to be able to nail the lap. So it's no wonder that people are struggling through that last sector, because it is very challenging.
Also, you've got a bit of nerves. You're coming up to the end of the lap, especially if you know it's a good lap. And, I always have it. You sit there and think, even if you turn off all the sector times, when you're on a good lap, you know it's a good lap. You just know. You can feel it. You understand. And it's just kind of like you've got it all rushing through you, and then you can make a simple mistake, as Greg Hall actually improved up into second position there, taking a bit of advantage there from Borja Milan's mistakes. I'll quickly run through this top 10 order as we approach. We're getting close to that final 5 minutes, which will be very important in this session. It's currently Anthony Yans for Team Spirit Racing on pole position by 3.5 tenths over DR Motorsport. Fantastic qualifying from them at the moment. Flatline Racing in third. Kasper Kolodevich into fourth position for Magenta Warriors. We said this car was getting faster. Currently 6 tenths off of pole position. He's just moved up there. Great stuff from him. Then it's Kyushu Motorsport in 5th. We know that car's got a bit more pace in it. SimHQ Motorsport in 6th. They're in the top 3 in the standings. Atlantic Motorsport in 7th. Seawolf Net Race Motorsport in 8th. Odin Racing in 9th. And PRL Logitech round out your top 10. Where is Scuderia GT Italia? That is that's the one that's in championship contention, isn't it? Last place. So yeah, that means that PRL Logitech are actually not in room 1. So that's avoided for them. So it is in the 9th place, which is currently Chiampa, which is your bubble spot. So keep an eye on that as we do hit the final 5 minutes here at Istanbul for LMP2.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see how this will all go as we get into the last bit. Obviously, the pace will come down again. That battle at the back end of room run, very, very close indeed. They're all really tight between 6th, even down to sort of 10th, 11th. So that battle to who's going to bubble there, as you say, at the back end of the room one is going to be very interesting to watch, as they are very close. I mean, even down to 14th, even is not that far behind. So there's a whole bunch of guys there could be in contention to have a go at that end of room one, sneak in there as we head towards the final part of the session. And yeah, everyone now starting to do their last few laps as we head towards the end. We'll see if Anthony Jans can find any more pace. I mean, being Jans, he probably will, no doubt. He'll probably just pull an absolute ripper of a lap out of nowhere. So, yeah. But yeah, we'll see how we go.
Not one of us would be surprised.
No, but still good pace, as we said, from the guys behind. You know, second, third, and not too, especially Greg Calder, only 3/10 off, 14th, fairly off in that car. Not too bad at all, really. And, you know, may even be more pace. We'll have to see. But, you know, pretty impressive, really, to be within striking distance of Anthony Jans.
Yeah, considering how the session started with him with the 7/10 lead, it was almost kind of hard to see it even getting this close. And we know that Borja Milan has got a bit more pace in that car. We know the 07 Kyushu Motorsports car's got a bit more pace in it as well. So there is potential here for someone to get up there and challenge Anthony Jans. So do not rule it out, as currently Borja Milan through the first sector is a 10th up on his best. 600ths off of your provisional pole position, but come down towards that second sector. We know how much of an absolute mess he made of the final sector, as Oscar Hardwick lovingly said in the comment section. He didn't want to go near any of the apexes, which is true. Down towards this final complex, let's see if he can actually do it this time. Can Borja Milan muster up some apexes? He hits the first one, it's gold. He hits the second one, it's gold.
You get a third.
Is he going to do it? He's done it. Congratulations, Borja Milan. You've hit some apexes. Down towards the line, though. He is 10th up on his personal best. Third position at the moment. He doesn't improve, so he must have actually improved off screen, because that was considerably better than the previous attempt to do that final sector.
Again, though, I noticed that the only thing I did notice again, I think the second time he's done it, is he just I think he almost took 2 or 3 stabs that very last corner. He just couldn't quite get lined up. So I feel like if he could just try and get that final corner lined up, then he might get some more time. Because he just seems to turn in a bit too early. He's got a straight and turn, and that just costs you momentum and time. So.
Absolutely not carrying enough momentum, especially through that final corner where momentum is so key. Because if you're holding a tight line, you're obviously going to be scrubbing off unnecessary amounts of speed. 2.5 minutes to go, though. People will be starting their final laps of this session in preparation for the 6 hours of Istanbul. Who is going to be on pole position? Who's going to be in room 1? This is the interesting part of the session, Mr. Hinsey, where it's all going to be a complete mess. And we love it.
We'll be calling a position, then the very next minute it'll change again, then it'll change again, and it'll change again, and it'll just be
absolutely
us just trying to catch up with ourselves, basically. So yeah, as no one improving at the moment, but as you say, I mean, we're on the last bunch of laps now, so this will be where everyone will be finding their last bits of pace and challenging for again that entry in room 1. Again, as I said before, it's very close at the back end of that top 10, so it could really be anyone, even down to 14th or even possibly 15th, if they could find some pace to get in.
Milan again, he's like 2 tenths up on himself, and then he gets towards the final sector and then kind of forgets how to drive. It's so sad to see. He was 2 tenths up on his best, so was looking for a very nice lap time, but has completely thrown it away. It improves by like 15 thousandths of a second, but it's just it's not enough, considering what that was. I think Casper and the 24 car, that Magenta Warriors car, is done for the day. We'll see.
As well, he's done.
Yeah, that's it. Milan's also done.
There you go. So it's pretty much just Greg Hall, who probably is going to be the only one who can challenge Anthony Ans for that pole. So we'll see if he can find that 4/10, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to find
It's going to be
4/10
tough.
around here.
Hasn't found anything in the first sector. He's acts as 10th down himself, 3/10 down on Mr. Jans, who even Jans isn't finding time on himself. So I'm pretty sure that might be most of the qualifying session done. There's number 147 Seawolf net race car currently down in 8th position going through this final complex of corners. Looking like he's on an alright lap, is improving a little bit down towards this final sector. Can he improve his time, move himself a bit more comfortably? Yes, he can by 3 thousandths. 3 thousandths with a second improvement. Excellent. Hadlack, though, very unfortunate for him. He's currently in 10th position. But obviously, because of Scuderia GT Italia, will not actually be in room 1 unless he can improve further up this order.
He's still got to find 2/10, so he's got to find some pretty significant time to be able to improve. So not looking good at the moment, but we'll have to keep an eye on him. We'll see if he can find some time here as the timer runs out now. So just be on the final laps of the session. He's just going through the last corner.
He's a long way up.
Yeah,
he's a long way up.
Last Apex,
3/10. Yeah, he did absolutely smash that last Apex. But let's see what he's like up towards the line. Is he going to make a bit of an upset here? Yes, he is, to 7th position. That is absolutely excellent there for the number 75 car. Moves himself up comfortably now. But Joe Chiampa's not on a lap as well. Chiampa, that Odin racing car, we saw that car was a little bit quick earlier on in the session, is currently now in room 2.
Wow, there you go. Bit of drama then. That's a good bit of drama to finish off the session. It was unexpected. Yeah, great lap on him.
Yeah, I think that is pretty much it done. We've got Guardia on a lap in the number 11 car. The car in front of it, the Seawolf car, is not actually improving. Guardia's not that close to his. Oh, he's a 10th off his best, but it's kind of like, or half 10th off. That's not like that great though. I'm pretty sure that there is a session done. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no one else behind outside the top 10. Looks to be really on a lap, so he should be safe anyway. So he's going to finish it. Yeah, he's going to finish it anyway. Well, yeah, may as well. Why not? See if he can improve.
Why not?
So,
I mean, not with a final corner like that. It was completely legal either way. Down towards the line. Yeah, I don't think he's going to improve on a 41.111. Either way, it's illegal. No, it doesn't. So yeah, that does pretty much settle your session there, and in an absolutely shocking, like completely shocking turn of events, Anthony Ans is on provisional pole position. Although he wasn't on provisional pole position last time, he is this time. So yeah, I'd also be amazed if that lap was illegal.
There we go.
Yes, getting ready for GTE Pro halfway through the qualifying here for the 6 hours of Istanbul. And who is going to be on pole position here in GTE Pro? I'm just going to pull up my previous lovely statistics here is Vires. They are the team to beat in qualifying. Since joining the series at Fuji, they have qualified second, first, and second. Second is their lowest qualifying. It's been Niki Jakovic every time, so be amazed to see him low down the order. I'm expecting him to be right up there challenging for pole position here in GTE Pro. In fact, they were beaten last round by a team that was new for that round, actually, which is actually the team that went on to win the race, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah,
Scuderia Lyon or whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, they did go. They did go on to win the race. Yep. Currently, though, Vires, as you say, considering they joined midway through the season, they're 4th in the standings, only 4.5 points off of 3rd.
Yeah.
Which is really not bad. They're only 20 points off of the championship lead, so keep an eye on Vires over the final round of the season. Obviously, they were my marks back in Sebring. So, yeah, keep an eye on that team. Your top 3 in GTE Pro will quickly run through the 106 GT Italia, the 011 SRVN car, and the number 2 Northern Light Racing car. That is your top 3. So they're already transferring.
Yeah, I was waiting on obviously I was waiting on the P2s to leave, all the P2s to leave the server, and then we should be pretty much good to go. Yep, there we go. So 15, so a little bit less again. So the P2, obviously 21, now we're back down to the same amount pretty much as P1, so it'll be a little less numbers and a little less traffic as well to worry about, but it'll be interesting to see how we go here. And it'll be interesting to see how the GT cars handle that last sector, because obviously they are very different cars to the P1s and P2s, so we'll keep an eye on them and see how they can wrestle that rhythm section, and basically it is the last sector. Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah, so 23 teams compared to Pro, yeah, so they were just all joining a bit late. Okay, well then that's my bad.
Yeah.
bit too keen, but yeah, no, 23, so it'll be quite a busy session again, which is good to see. So it could be having some traffic again and plenty of laps to do or to beat and dropping around and all the order hopefully be changing a lot. So yeah, should be an interesting session. I'm interested to see how the GT Pros, where their weaknesses are, or where their struggles are on the track compared to the P1s and the P2s.
Yeah, the widest margin for pole position here in GT Pro was back in Spa, in that the wet conditions back in Spa. It was Vires by half a second. Outside of that, most of your pole positions come down to roughly 1/10 of a second. So it's quite a close field. We have 2/10 back in Silverstone and Fuji, but there's people are getting used to the cars, getting used to what's going on nicely. I'm pretty sure one of the main differences between this round and last round is the departure of walk racing. They're no longer here. They pulled out, so I don't think we have. We've only got we got a few Porsches in GT Pro. It's not really the favoured vehicle because it's but it's difficult really. It's really hard to drive. I actually had the I wouldn't really say privilege of driving a Porsche around here a few months ago. It's not an entertaining experience.
Yeah, indeed. No,
Currently, people getting ready for their laps. The team that I was talking about as maybe being as having their first round last time out, which is Scuderia Leone, they've actually just joined the session. The number 334 car, Kevin Rotting, qualifying for them. Remember, pole and the win back in Sebring, and yeah, keep an eye on them. I'm pretty sure that with the exclusion of, actually, I'm gonna look at that statistic. I don't think only one time this season, I think, a pole position has been converted to a race win.
Yeah, there you go. Wow.
Yeah,
very interesting.
That's as far as I can see, because Vires have never won.
Huh. There you go.
They've had lots of pole positions and they're very, very fast, but they've never won.
Never.
So yeah. We've only had one, and that was back in Fuji when SRVN grabbed pole with Bram Bielen behind the wheel, and they went on to win in Fuji. In fact, they actually won at Interlagos as well after qualifying second. So yeah, there has never been. Oh, there's only once been a pole race conversion. That's an interesting statistic for this field.
Yeah, it's a bit. Yeah, there you go. So I guess in this one, pole position is definitely no guarantee of a win. That's for sure. So yeah, there
Absolutely.
you go. Yeah, very interesting statistic. But yeah, as everyone going along, of course, now they're all doing their banker laps, the very first of the session, as we wait for the track to rubber in. I think it was. I'm trying to remember who it was. I did see who it was on a lap first, and I lost them. So good on me for not sticking with that person. But but yeah, oh, that's right. It was Conor McCarroll. That's right. He was the first one on lap. So no, not okay. Right, he's on a lap. Don't worry. So
he has completed 2 laps, so he must have escaped on his outlap somewhere.
Yeah.
Arnie Schoenvliet though to the line for Revolution. Of course, recently changed from a Viper to a C7R, goes to a 50.522. This car, or rather the team itself, having changed car, they actually had pole position back in Silverstone. So obviously that was actually in the hands, I believe, Arnie was in the car at the time. He's mainly been, I think mainly been focusing his time on some Clios recently. So I'm sure it's an enlightening experience to be back in a GT car.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting to see how these guys will go. I'll be watching as well, because I know these cars. As you said, the Porsches are very hard to drive. I know the Ferraris are very, very fast. They're very much favoured. Same with the Vantages and the Corvettes. And obviously, there is, I believe, only one or two. I think it might be one BMW, yeah, in the field of
Yeah.
pros. And that car's obviously again is another one that's is a bit disadvantaged, not quite as quick as the other cars in the field. I know this because I drove one in another series in a different league, and I was
I was going to
told
ask
that.
if you drive that. Yeah.
Yeah, I drive that car. It's great fun to drive. I love it. And it sounds absolutely fantastic. That V8 just sounds amazing. But yeah, I've been told that apparently it is a bit disadvantaged, and that would explain why my pace just wasn't quite there compared to the Ferraris and the Astons I was going up against. So yeah, so it's not quite as quick as the rest of the GTE cars. So it is generally a disadvantage to drive that, which is why there's not many of the BMWs in the VEC field in Pro and Am. So it'll be interesting to see where that finishes. Because as I said, it's not quite as fast as the cars around it. That's just pretty much a general fact with that car. So we'll see how that goes. I'll be watching that BMW to see where it ends up in this session.
Yeah, not going to lie, that BMW is quite rubbish. To put it lightly. As from my experience within the mod, the Ferrari it's one of the fastest. The C7R is obviously very, very fast as well. Same with the Aston, of course. The Porsche is really, really fast if you know how to drive it. That's why. Well, it's not why Jakovic. Obviously, it's because he's actually a really good driver. But that Porsche can be the fastest car on the field if you know how to drive it, and that's maybe why they haven't won a race yet, because it's really hard. As Tara Dolberg shows some love in the chat for the Z4. We all love a bit of the Z4, don't we? Unfortunately, if you want to see a Z4 going quickly, the only place you can really go is iRacing, and no one wants to do that.
Just hang on,
pretty much, yeah.
Actually, in the newly announced Virtual GT Championship, I think I see like 3-4 BMWs, and Tiro is one of them.
Right. Can they hear you, Mister? They can. Okay, right.
Cool.
So that's fine. I don't have to repeat all of that. Cool. No, Tero does. Like, I think Tero was in a Z4 in a different league quite a while ago, actually racing here. Of course, we will get on to the recent announcement of the Virtual GT Championship and Sim Racing Club, and of course the Porsche Super Cup, which starts pretty soon. Actually, just the Porsche Super Cup.
Yeah.
And it's us two on commentary for it. Yay!
It is, yeah. Woo. It'll be fun. I look forward
We'll
to
have to
that.
put up with our voice for another year. Cool. Currently, though, on topic of the session, 17.5 minutes to go, or a little bit more than, in a shocking turn of events, Niki Jakovic currently on pole position in the Porsche that we have slagged off so gracefully in this broadcast. Arnie Shuvli, though, in second position. Conor Carroll in third in the, as I say, they were rebranded for the previous round from Overstep to Atlantic, and that hasn't slowed them down at all, currently in third position, although 1.2 seconds off of pole. That is a long way off of pole. Yeah. It's a bit of a shock, actually, at the moment.
Yeah, everyone's very spread out, actually. It's quite a spread field right now. There's there's a couple of little pockets that are close, but it's actually really spread out between the field, really, in terms of qualifying pace, which is quite interesting. So, yeah. No, it's going to be interesting to see, and yeah, we'll see how we go here in this session as it develops and goes on. But yeah, no, it's going to be very. I'll tell you what, these cars. Again, I mean, obviously, I'm sure a lot of people have already said this before me, but these cars I've found obviously really fun to drive. Obviously, the GT cars, you can get into such a groove. That's one thing I found when I was driving the BM in the first round of the series I'm driving in. 1 hour races that we do, they're really easy to get in the zone with. I was just loving it. I wasn't necessarily going.
I can't stand them.
Really?
No.
There we go. Maybe it's just me. But yeah, I found personally, really easy to get in the grip, and also like, and you know, for me, especially the BMW, again, as we said, it's a bit not quite as fast as the cars around it in this mod, but very fun to drive. I found like it would just you'd have when it had moments, it was just those really graceful moments. You'd get a little bit of oversteer, go, okay, I'll just catch that really quickly, and or really casually, you know, it wasn't like it just snapped on you. It would just be very, very casual. I'll just fix that oversteer, and really fun. I found I really got into the zone with them. But then again, I'll have to admit I am very partial to GT cars, so that might be a factor too. So yeah, there is that.
Yeah. Rotting went up into second whilst you were saying that, and currently McCarroll is putting together an alright lap time, but he's got some traffic up ahead. But to follow on from your point, no, I cannot stand GTs. It's mainly because I'm a front-wheel drive noob, and GTs aren't really in my circle of comfort, really. But especially this mod, it's well designed. A lot of people like it, and yeah, it's a lot of people can get into the zone with it nice and easily. I'm unfortunately not one of them.
That's fine. Fair enough.
Yeah, currently
their own.
Djokovic is about to start his lap time. Yeah, Rotting on an out lap. Arnie Schumvliet on a lap, the 301 Revolution racing car. Obviously, they all got rebranded a few rounds ago. I think it was back in Spa. They all got a nice little rebrand, a nice touch-up, I believe, by Mr. Terra Dolbold, who does some very nice liveries. You should go check them out. But here comes Arnie to the line. He's down on himself. Cool. I was bigging him up.
Getting more bigged up and he goes down with himself. His own time.
Currently, though, the 303 car, his teammate, is a 10th up in the first sector. The rare car, the 113 rare endurance team, actually improved by 7/10 of a second and moved himself up into 9th.
Wow, that's a big improvement. Yeah, a lot of time found there, and again, it's a bit close now. Again, that fourth. This time now it's fourth, about 10th. It's only 3/10 of a second.
Absolutely,
so.
Yeah.
Yet again, close below the lead. The lead's very spread apart, but below them it's quite close. So that's quite fascinating to see. We'll see how that develops. And again, it'll be that battle for who's going to be in room 1 and room 2. I think it's going to be quite fascinating to watch here as the pace seems pretty close between those guys there. Fortunately, the Z4 is at the back of the field, which is making me very sad. But anyway.
Yeah. On a field as competitive as this, if you've got any sort of disadvantage like that, it takes quite a lot to overcome that. And yeah, unfortunately, all of the drivers that are, that you would expect to be towards the front of the field aren't in a Z4. As unfortunate as it is, we don't really see Z4s up towards the front. Unfortunately, it's a mess of Ferraris, Astons, Porsches, and Corvettes really at the front of the field.
Yeah, no,
Which,
it's
funny
still
enough,
fun.
is we had who is that? The SRVN car?
I think it might have been. Yeah. Woo.
Yes, it is the SRVN car. Yes, SRVN car moves up into 4th, although that's not the 011, that's a 211.
Yeah. And only he's done
the 011's miles down the order. It's currently in 16th position. Is Bram Beelen. I was wondering where that was. I hadn't seen him for a little while. Currently pulls off his lap, 12.5 minutes to go, or nearly half of the session to go, 12 minutes 50. But yeah, that car's way down the order.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was just thinking that, because obviously he's been in room 1 in the last few rounds and been doing pretty well with that team in the last few rounds of the championship. So interesting to see them so far down, but well, hopefully their sake they can find some pace. I mean, again, let's have a look. They're about 9/10 off 10th, so still quite a ways, really. They've got to find quite a bit of pace before they can start challenging the room 1 order of things. But yeah, very interesting to see. We'll keep an eye on those guys because we would expect them to be in room 1, but apparently the pace is not quite there at the moment.
Well, that SRVN car obviously is one of the ones with an automatic transfer up into that top lot, as is the Northern Light Racing car that is currently down in 12th. And where's the Scuderia GT Italia? So currently in 7th is the Scuderia GT Italia. That is, the one in Success Championship League. They're currently in 7th position. So currently 2 of your top 3 in the standings are outside of that top 10, which is very unfortunate for Revolution Racing's number 303 car, currently in 9th, and the Rare Endurance team currently in 10th. It's very unfortunate for those, because if the session were to end right now, although they'd be top 10, they wouldn't be into room 1. That's due to the way the rules work here in the Virtual Endurance Championship. Trying to manage all of these people is a pretty tough job.
Sure,
and,
yeah.
It's the way it is. The rule's been there for the whole season, and I'm pretty sure that Revolution and Rare are fully aware of who is behind them and where they need to be in this session. So yeah, it's gonna be a tough session ahead for those guys, especially if those bottom 2, the top 3 in the standings, aren't in the top 10 in this session. So it's pretty tough for them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, it's going to be a tough time for them trying to get through as they get through this field. But either way, we're trying their best for sure as we go along. Half second still. The Porsche leading at the moment. It's still pretty spread between top sort of four. But then again, it's quite, again, as I said before, it's quite close down from about 4th to 10th, or even down to sort of 11th, 12th. So pretty close again from after the leaders. But yeah, the leaders quite spread apart at the moment. As I'm looking at 4th, the Flatline Racing car. I don't know if they're on a lap. I think it was, but it wasn't an improvement. So yeah, no improvements right now. But, yeah. Oh, it was okay, right,
Thomas Jacobs. The only one really in that top lot who is on, who's actually on a timed lap is Arne Schindler in the 301 car, who's a massive 15 thousandths up on himself. As he makes a lovely boo-boo there. Nicely wrestled back there to the racing line, but yeah, that would have cost him an awful lot of time. So good job he pulls off. Follow the 334 car through that first sector. He's 2/10 off of Jakubic's time. Currently in second position is that car, pole position back at Sebring. A 10th up on himself though, as he wrestles his way through turn 8, which is, at least in my opinion, is less fun in one of these, and it isn't an LMP1 car where you just do it flat out. It's a bit more of an actual corner in these.
Yeah, you better actually lift and actually, let off the accelerator and try and modulate a little bit. So yeah, because of the less grip, obviously being GT cars. So that's the reasoning there. But Rodden coming through the second sector now as he comes towards the end
Good
of
second
the lap.
sector. Good second
okay.
sector there. He did look very nice through T8. This is a good second sector. He's currently 3/10 up on his best. He gained a little bit on Jakovic as that was not the cleanest braking zone I've ever seen from Kevin Ross.
Yeah. A little wobble under the braking, and it's just cost him a little bit of the apex, and missed the apex again through there. So a little bit wide through that last sector. But we'll see anyway if he's still got enough time, obviously, to improve as he comes to the line now. Very long run, of course, being GT cars, even longer than the Ps or prototype cars, but he does improve. Yeah.
Yeah, but obviously with that mess in the final sector, that car's got a bit more pace. But yes, it's that experience of that thing that we've already seen quite a few times over this qualifying session, where you reach that final sector, and that final sector is really it's really tricky. As the 211 car runs straight off at turn 8. It's a tricky section, so to do that after you're on a good lap, it's horrible. It's really horrible. Watch though, Niki Jakovic, the number 99 car, through this final sector, 3/10 up, almost through the second sector, and here he comes out of that final corner. Is this going to be a further improvement? I would think so. From the number 99 car, pole positions to his name, 2 of them, and improves by 4/10 of a second. That is a monster lap time from Niki Jakovic, a 49.444. That is going to be a tough one for these boys to crack.
Oh yeah, that was a very, very impressive lap from him. So great stuff there from Niki to get that lap times 8/10 now up on Kevin Ronnie. Again, we know Kevin's got a bit more pace there, with that last sector being a bit messy for that last lap, but still it's a lot of time to find. Yeah, 8/10 to find. Yeah, it's a lot of time to find to be able to take the challenge to the Porsche. Again, as you said, I mean, Niki just has that Porsche nailed down so well. He just knows how to drive it perfectly to really extract the pace from it. So, yeah, going to be very challenging to beat him, and we'll see how we go here. But I wonder if maybe, I'll probably jinx it now, but maybe if we'll have a new sort of biggest gap for the pole here in GT Pro. Because as you said before, it's half seconds the biggest gap we've had in this season so far. At the moment, we may have even be up here, maybe.
In fact, I think actually 4/10. I will double check that in just a moment.
Yeah. So I think running...
yeah, it's just under 4/10 of a second is the previous biggest gap. So that at the moment is currently being doubled by Mr. Jakovic, which is damn impressive on this field. That is a mighty time.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say about that. 49.444. That's just ridiculous. I will say Alessandro Puetti in the championship leader, leading Aston Martin, the Scuderia GT Italia, moved himself up into 4th position. And the other cars we need to be aware of: Thomas Behar still in 12th, and Bram Beelan down in 17th position.
Wow.
It's not good for them. Of course, they're already through into that top lot. They're going to be
Good
last of
signs.
the top 10. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's unfortunate for some of the people further up in the top 10.
Oh,
As Bram Beelan does improve to 14th.
bit more pace, but again, he's still, good. What's that? Good 8/10. Oh, sorry, 6/10 off the
6/10,
10th place time. Yeah, so it's interesting to see. Hopefully they'll find some pace, because otherwise, as you say, I mean, they'll be struggling in room one if this is their pace during the race. So yeah, some struggling times possibly for them, but obviously they'll do some probably hard practice for the race and try and work on that consistency. Get some more, so they can at least challenge for room one at the very least.
The week between qualifying and race day is generally the one where the teams will find the most time, but there will be some nice gains between now and race day. That's why you tend to see someone go on to pole position here. However, next week, they drop back quite aggressively. As rotating through the final corner, he is only a little bit off of himself, rather. Sorry, he's 4/10 off of Djakovic. To the line, though, does improve by 0.2 of a second, moves within 6/10. I'm sitting there going, that's an amazing lap. It's still 6/10 off. That just shows an amazing job that Nicky Djakovic has done in that Porsche.
Still going around, obviously, still trying to improve. So they might even find more pace. You never really know. So yeah, Nicky really got that car down pat. I mean, at Spa, he was really impressive in that. I remember during, obviously, the bit of a mess that was with all the issues with the servers. But obviously, when I do remember him racing, when there was racing, that Porsche was really fast. So yeah, he really has got that nailed down on how to drive that thing and extract a maximum pace from it.
Absolutely. Conor McCarroll, though, down towards, he's approaching the end of the second sector. Through the first sector, he was 0.3 up on his best, under some of the banners, and then across, he's still 2/10 up on his best. He lost a little bit in that second sector, but this is seeming like it's a fairly good time here from the number 100 car.
Looking pretty impressive as he comes through the last sector. It looks like he's a little bit wide through that last corner. Not too bad, though. At least stayed semi-close. Gets the apex relatively nice. A little bit of a loss at the rear, but that's okay. He managed to hold together. Gets that last corner pretty nailed. So, all right, not a bad last sector. Could be probably a little bit better, but shouldn't have lost too much time as he runs towards the line. He should improve, surely, you would think, here as he goes across the line. He does. Oh, wow. Quite a bit. Goes to 4th. So 0.3 quicker, I think he was, than his best, and he's managed to go from 8th to 4th. Just shows how close that is between sort of 4th to even 9th, 10th place.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I was just reading something in the chat. I apologise, I feel really bad now. Bram Beelan then moves up into 12th position, and Thomas Behar in 13th. Remember, these are the two that get the automatic transfer. Bram Beelan, though, finding a little bit of pace as this session unfolds. I don't know if he'll actually be able to move himself any further up into that top 10. Of course, he's got about 0.4 to find to move himself into 10th position, so it's still a fair amount of time for the Ferrari driver. 2 minutes left of the session.
And Nicky just went a little bit faster. I just found I think it was only about half a tenth or so, but he just went a little bit faster again.
It's enough to move the gap to Roting over 0.6 now. So, yes, that is Nicky Djakovic pretty much done. Yeah, this is done. He's not going to come out again. I think he'll be too busy sitting in the garage, being so impressed with himself. I would be if I had that much of a lead. As I say, though, these guys are all starting their final laps of this session. Can anyone find any more time? I find it very unlikely anyone could come and fight Mr. Djakovic and take that pole off of him. I mean, he's almost at the point where if he'd have exceeded track limits, he is at the point. If he'd exceeded track limits once on a lap, right, he'd be second. That's how much of an advantage he has over the field. That's nuts.
Crazy, isn't it, really? Yeah.
That is truly nuts. A lot of these boys getting ready for their final laps. Kevin Roting up a little bit through the second sector on himself.
There we go.
Arnie Schumfli up a little on himself through the first sector. Colin McCarroll starting his final lap. The Alessandro Puotti pretty much his session done. He's spun off in the first sector, so that'll be him done. Arnie Schoenvliet still up 1/10 up on himself through that middle sector, 7/10 down on the best. Kevin Roting, though, to the line. Will he improve?
Just
100th, and that's him done. Is he pulling off? No. I really struggle to see if people are. Yeah, he's done.
Arnie's
Kevin
pulling off.
Roting is done.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought he seemed a little slow through T1. It's not just my eyes deceiving me from watching LMP1s through there when they're doing it like 40 k's faster. Arnie Schoenvliet, though, to the line. Is he going to improve? Yes, he does. 0.2 of a second. Moves to within a second of Niki Jakovic, which in this session right now is something to not to be have your nose turned up at. That's really not bad. Right, one of the boys in 9th position, the other SRVN, the 211 car, currently a little bit up on itself through Sector 2. Will he move up into the top 8? Yes, he does. That is very, very important. The Rare Endurance team now moved into 9th position. That means they will not be into Room 1, considering that Behar and Beelan are down in that lot. But watch Bram Beelan, though. 011 car through that final corner, through that final in the second sector. He's 0.3 up on himself through that second sector. Let's see what he does towards the line. Doesn't improve. Never mind. Completely ignore me. And Behar's also spun off of his lap. So, yes, that will confirm those two into the top 10. That's very unfortunate for the 151 car and the 113 car, who both, although qualifying in the top 10, will no longer be in really be in Room 1. They'll actually be in Room 2, unfortunately for them.
Yeah, just as I say, the way the rules work with the all that sort of stuff here at the Virtual Endurance Championship. Also, just for all the Z4 fans out there, the Z4 is not last. It's second last, but it's not last. And they're on a lap, so they may improve a little bit more, but they aren't last at least. So represent Z4, so that's good stuff to see.
Yeah, I remember commentating on a GT Endurance Championship in iRacing once, and it was when the Ford GT was awful. Absolutely awful. So anytime there was a race on, it was always focusing on that car, because it's just like, whatever about the rest of them. We want to focus on the underdog here. Everyone loves an underdog.
Exactly. All right.
Final 25 minutes of qualifying about to get underway. GTE Pro. GTE Pro? No. GTE Am. I'll get it right eventually. It's cool. I mean, it's as if I've done 6 of these qualifying sessions on, and I don't know what I'm doing. Cool. Oh dear.
Smack it up as we go along.
Absolutely. The order that I love my stats. This here is back more on track with what we've had in LMP1, where we had one team that had taken pole position twice and everyone else had one apiece. And that is the same here at this moment. We've had Scuderia GT Italia, the number 31 car, has had pole position at Silverstone and Interlagos the first round of the season and the third round of the season. However, in between that, we've had the 845 Dark Racing car, which is amazing. They've only got one pole to their name. They have only got one pole to their name back in Fuji, shockingly enough. Then you've got the Magenta Warriors number 42 car, took pole position, the Viper, in that wet qualifying session back in Spa. That was Eric Strana, who is qualifying for that car today. And Talking Door Racing, which is an awful name for a team, I'm sorry. They had pole position back in Sebring. So yeah, we've had quite a few different pole sitters. As I say, it's the cars that some cars come towards the front, whether it's a Ferrari, a Porsche, or even a Viper, apparently. So yes, do expect that. We nearly had a BMW on pole position once here in GTE Am. So you know, those drivers, be happy. We do have at least one BMW Z4 out there doing us all proud.
Exactly, yeah, and that's of course the volleyball entry with one of my favorite people, bubbly, cheery, laughing people in JJ at the wheel. So that's good to see. I'll be very secretly / not subtly supporting him throughout this qualifying session. So
who would? Anyone that knows JJ will know that no one laughs more, which is amazing considering he's like 31.
Yeah.
Oh dear. He sounds like a 12-year-old boy though, so it's fine. Currently, though, this qualifying session is about to get underway. 25 minutes ahead of us for the final qualifying session here at Istanbul. And of course, remember, everything here is completely provisional. This always changes. And obviously, just as a reference, if you are for some reason going to tune out before GTE Am qualifying, don't forget to check Facebook and, of course, the Sim Racing Club forum and the VEC side of that. For the official results that will go up in a couple of days' time, whenever I get sent them and whenever I edit them, which is usually late because I'm lazy.
And also, and shout out as well, of course, to the Sim Racing Club. Of course, it's all under the one banner now, so VEC is under the Sim Racing Club banner rather than being a separate site. Very pretty, very, very pretty layout. I did like it a lot. I've had a little look around, and it's very, very nice, very streamlined. I like it a lot.
Yes, of course, all the forum in one place as well for all of the championships, which Sim Racing Club is growing. Of course, we had the recently announced GT Championship, which will obviously be in GTs, funnily enough. I'm pretty sure it'll be in these GTs. Will it be in the what's the other ones? NG races. That's not out yet, so we're probably not going to be in those. So we'll be in the URDs, 1 hour races. Which will be quite nice for these guys. It'll be actually a good training for some of these drivers, especially if you want to try out a driver. You know, you watch what they're like in the GT Championship. Although that championship is going to be seriously competitive. You'll also have the Flat 6 one that starts the Porsche Super Cup, which starts pretty soon. I'm not really sure what the date is. But I know it's very shortly. That'll be a good one. I distinctly remember a pre-season test around this circuit, and I know he's watching, so I'll bring it up. Where Oscar Harwick absolutely smashed off someone in one of the pre-season tests. That championship will definitely be one to watch. The Flat Sixes are fantastic. Weirdly enough, I actually like driving them, which makes me very sad inside. But it's always a good championship to watch racing in. So please do not forget to check that out, which will be us two on commentary again. I believe Jimmy Allison, who's currently on your cameras. I believe Jimmy's driving in the independent side of it.
Yeah.
If that's correct.
Very nice. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yes,
And
it's correct.
Yes, it's correct. There you go.
Yeah.
Definitely be one to watch though. Will be that series.
You know, I was actually just thinking, and this is going to sound weird me announcing it here. I might have to look at the virtual GT Championship. Actually, I just looked at it then, and I was like, hour-long races? It just got my head a little bit. I might have to get the BMW and be the BMW side of things and show the support for the Z4. So, yeah, that was an interesting one. I'll have to see how we go on that one. But yeah, it looks very interesting indeed. And as you say, it'll be a very competitive championship, I can imagine, that championship. But yeah, it would be a lot of fun for sure. So I might even have a look at that and see how I go. Yeah. More to come on that.
Yeah, of course. Also, alongside that, we've got VLMS, which will probably never happen. That's all down to when a mod gets released. That has nothing to do with the league being how we just don't have the mod yet. So, but that'll definitely be one that's very interesting to check out. Will be VLMS, and of course the virtual rally championship. So Sim Racing Club is quite busy these days, and if you aren't a part of it, I would like to ask why. I will say though your banker laps are fully underway, and I'll just quickly list off the 3 teams, the top 3 in the standings. Your championship leader, Scuderia GT Italia, 1 win to their name, shockingly enough, at the previous round. Scuderia GT Italia, those number 31, currently leading the championship by 10 points over Dark Racing, who obviously had that DQ with the rule that's no longer in place, but will be back in place soon, of the 4-hour driver rule. They actually had a DQ back in Interlagos, but that team do not ever rule out Dark Racing 845 car. Most likely, Adam Taylor goes on to your provisional pole position on his banker lap. So that one will be one to watch out for. And the 34 Banzai Motorsport car, that is another one that is in that top 3. Those 3 are the ones with the automatic transfer. But currently, it's the 102 car, the Atlantic. I keep wanting to say Overstep when it's not Overstep. That one goes on to your provisional pole position. They're currently 5th in the standings. It says 0 points. So they must have DNF'd. Oh yeah, of course they did DNF. There was an early crash and they DNF'd in that. I think. I can't remember what was his name behind the wheel. I'm awful. I'm sorry. But either way, that team was actually right up there in championship contention until that retirement back in Sebring. So watch out for that team. They are very fast, as we can see on provisional pole position. I've been told a low 52 was a good time, expecting to be a mid 52 as the cutoff point. Although starting off the session on a 52.0 says a lot about that. That is an impressive time to start off with.
For sure, yeah. So they've already got some pretty solid pace in these cars. So watch them with interest as they go along. Still a few at the back end of the field to put in their banker laps. But yeah, going to be interesting to see how this goes with the spread of the field. Hopefully it'll be pretty close between these guys. And yeah, we go along, I think. And just confirming, by the way, just looking through the field. Yeah, we again only have the one Z4 in the ball car with JJ at the wheel. So again, Z4 only being the one representative, of course, because Z4 is the Z4 and it's not that quick. But yeah, still good to see it being represented in the field once more. So yeah, and of course, as you said, we've got Vipers here as well. So we've got the Viper being represented in GTE Am as well. So I think we do, don't we? We have every single car available in the GTs in the mod, so in the Am field, which is good to see. A lot of variety.
Being represented, yes, we do have every car, as far as I'm aware. I will say, just to give the BMW a bit of credit here, it did nearly have pole position when Zene Simoncic set a time back in Interlagos, and then it absolutely hammered it down. Did nearly have that pole, and then the round after it actually qualified third. So this is a car that has qualified quite nicely. It didn't qualify into Room 1 the previous round because JJ cut, and that hurt them. But yeah, this Z4 the thing is this is an example of a Z4, maybe not the fastest car, but there is a strong team behind that car. Being Vobble Racing, me and you, Hinsey, will know how strong Vobble are when they put their mind to something. So it's a strong organisation behind that car. So watch out for that car. I reckon it'll move further up. Eric Strana, pole position back in Spa, moves up into 9th position in the Viper. The no longer big-winged Viper, because Jimmy Allison doesn't like fun. Also because it was actually causing all the server crashes, having the upgrades. But it's the other one that I said. That's a better reason.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, there's no big wing on the Vipers. Of course, upgrades now removed from VEC. Why that causes an issue in R Factor 2, I have no idea. But that was what has been causing all of the server crashes. I actually thought back in Sebring that the server crashes had not been fixed, but it apparently turned out that it was Italian internet that just died.
Oh, well.
which is quite a shock.
Yeah. It's quite
Either
annoying.
way, though. There's nothing worse than being disconnected from a race and then finding out that it's not just your internet, it's the country's. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah. Whole thing just completely went to the dumpster basically during the thing.
I do think they did have all of their laps readjusted to redress that position, because obviously there was nothing to do with them or their internet. Or it was just a very unfortunate thing. Very bizarre. Because we were very confused in DHR when reading.
So
what if the Italians disconnected? What?
Yeah, you were just saying about the Z4 moving up. It just found tons of time. Found about 2.5 seconds or so. It's up into 7th now with JJ. So JJ seems to have found some good pace in that car at the moment for this track at Istanbul Park.
You can go a bit faster than that as well. I know JJ's been talking about doing, I think the fastest time that he's done at the moment, at least in testing, has been a 52.3. So do expect that Z4 to be a little bit further up. I think he said a 51 wasn't too far out of it. But I don't know. I'm not really too sure. We do also have Darry Tapper in the chat. He's one of the drivers for the Z4. This lovely Z4, which we have hilarious bias for now, apparently.
Apparently.
16 minutes to go rather of this session, and I'll quickly run through the top 10. There was a question asked in the chat, was there 2 dark racing cars? There absolutely is. They're 2nd and 3rd. It's still the Atlantic Motorsports car on your provisional pole position, but the other dark racing car, which I will refer to it as the 548, it has moved up into 2nd position in front of the 845 Adam Taylor car. Then it's 3 wide in 4th, KSM Sim Racing Team in 5th, ROTW in 6th, the lovable Z4 Vodball Racing Team in 7th, Revolution a little bit further down than I'd expect them to be in 8th, Race Weekend Team in 9th, and Texas Drivers in 10th. Your previous pole sitters, I believe that's the right car, was it? No, it was a 017. Do we have that one? Yes, we do. They are down. They haven't set a time yet.
Yeah, they just didn't serve just anything.
Yes, because Talking Door Racing are a team where they've got 2 cars. One of them is black and yellow and it looks great, and the other one is about as bright as the sun. It's this bright yellow. It's very distracting when you're driving around. It's less bright here, which is good. At Sebring though, I mean, you could see it from half the track away. But yeah, I'm actually not going to lie, really impressed with that second dark racing car, the 548. That's a really nice lap time there to move them up into second position. Really impressive stuff.
Yeah. Looking very impressive. Was under a 10th off pole. So, and as we said, I mean, we're probably expecting again the 51s maybe for the best time.
Eric
as
Strana
the track goes on. Oh, yep, good spot. Yeah, only 5/10 off. So it looks like we've got a much closer field here than we did in the Pro, which is good to see. So very close times as we go through the session.
Always, yes. This field is a very close and competitive field. But yeah, that's a nice improvement there from the black and pink machine of Eric Strana's Magenta Warriors car. Not going to lie, completely biased because I skinned it. That's the only reason. Let's have a look. The 55 car, 1/10 up on himself through the second sector. We'll see what he's like coming through this final complex of corners. Of course, I was a bit of a wrong line there. But these cars are very tricky because think of everything on a GT Pro car. The grip, the brakes, and all that stuff. Now reduce all of that stuff. And it's like, oh, God. Yeah, I had the privilege of driving the Viper at Spa because Eric Strana, who's currently in it, wanted some help with setup, and I then vowed I would never drive a GT car again. It was not a good experience.
Yeah, no, obviously, because obviously to differentiate them from the Pro, they've got a little less downforce than the Pro cars do to give that difference in class, so that they're amateur cars rather than being the exact same cars. And yeah, you're right. Yeah, I mean, they're hard enough to drive probably really.
Anyway,
yeah, exactly in pros, let alone with them when you've got less grip. It's really very challenging to drive. So, curse the drivers, curse the guys who can really extract the pace out of these things. It's not easy at all.
Yeah, absolutely. This category is, I think, this category is very, very competitive. There's a few drivers under the Am banner who maybe shouldn't be in Am, and we all know who they are. Speaking of one, Adam Taylor, who is 2/10 up on his best through the first sector, 3/10 up on pole through sector 1 alone in the Ferrari. Of course, I'm legitimately amazed that this car only has 1 pole to its name. But yeah, that car very, very quick. Obviously has won a couple of races this season.
Oh. Nuno has just found Pinto in the number 548 Ferrari. Yeah, he's just found more pace. He's gone 51.798, 2/10 clear of the Corvette. So first one into the 51s.
Let's have a look though. As Adam Taylor, here he is through the second sector. He's 3/10 up on Pinto's time. Problem is, he was illegal through that the previous chicane. He ran over the white line to a point where this lap shouldn't be legal, as far as I'm aware. At least that was what my eye saw.
Okay.
I'm usually wrong, so it's fine. I mean, I can hardly talk. I've done 1 qualifying session, and I exceeded track limits on my fastest lap, so I can hardly talk. But here he goes, Adam Taylor to the line. Will he improve onto pole position? I would assume so. Yes, he does. Wow, that was a good final sector. A 51.550. If he wants to keep that pole position, though, I reckon he has to improve that time some more. But currently, though, we have a dark racing 1-2. Which is not something I thought I would say, but touche to that their second car. That is some serious pace that car's found over the last round. So good stuff there for dark racing.
Yeah, Yeah, good stuff indeed from those guys. So looking very good again, though. We'll see if that time from Adam Taylor stands, because you'd say it did look like it was illegal through the middle sector. So we'll have to see, obviously, post-race in the proceedings there to see how that goes. But either way, still, I mean, even if it does count as an illegal lap, still looking like they've got some really good pace in that team, the Dark Racing cars. So some great work from them to get themselves up at the front of the GTE Am class, and we'll watch them with interest again, as you said. I mean, between qualifying and the race, the pace can change quite drastically between people throughout the field as they practice and get more pace during that week between the two events. But yeah, either way, looking pretty promising for Dark Racing, but still just under 10 minutes to go in this session, so we're starting to get to that time again where the grip will be coming to the guys as the track starts to grip up with all the guys going around the track. We'll see if there can be any changes. Philip Morby, I was wondering where the TSA car was, has just joined the server.
Oh,
with
yeah.
10 minutes to go, so yeah, bit late entry from the TSA boys, but at least they've made it, so that's the main thing. So they'll at least get some laps in, but whether they'll be able to be far up is another question, because they've joined very late to the server. So yeah, but at least they're here, because I was wondering, I was looking around going, where's TSA? I know that Corvette's meant to be here, but isn't here.
Yeah, they've not been about for the last couple of rounds. The 87 car? I think it's KSM. They moved up to 5th position. They just snuck up. It is KSM, yeah. Also, we're on auto cams apparently.
Yes.
So this will be interesting. It's auto cams to a point that I'm sure Oscar Harbour will be very proud, because we're just following a Magenta Warriors car around, which is great. So anything that Eric does is caught on a stream. Oh no, we just moved on to our favourite. Sorry, I know this is way behind. It's like 30 seconds behind. And we have just moved on to a JJ.
Good old JJ.
Good old JJ, absolutely.
Everyone's favourite JJ.
Absolutely.
We'll just say, sorry to jump in, just real quick, I was just noticing when I was looking through, you're mentioning the 87, that's actually quite a pretty livery, I've got to say. Very,
it is, isn't it?
Very colourful. Yeah, very nice. I like it.
I don't know if I prefer that one or I prefer the other one. There's another one with instead of blue, I think it's green.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's the same as their LMP2 car. It looks lovely. I mean, it's amazing because in my mind I look at that and go, that's a mess, but I really like it.
Yeah, no, it's
the
just,
one thing I'm not a fan of is the rear wheel arch. Not a fan of that, but
yeah,
other than that, I think the livery looks great. JJ though through the second sector. In that VOD ball that is probably not on your screen anymore. The 014 car, though, currently on... No, it's not on your screen anymore. Currently on an improving time. Half a second still off of Adam Taylor, but 2/10 up on his best. So we'll see what it's like through this final sector, this final complex, of course, where this BMW should be pretty good. As it's generally more of a handling car, as far as I'm aware. To the line, 52.726 to beat his previous best. He is going to do it, 52.514. Move himself within a second of the pace and up into 6th position.
But again, as we said, with the BMW obviously being a little bit off the pace of the other cars, pretty impressive there from JJ. But again, as we mentioned before, Vodball are very, very well-run organisation, as me and Lulu know. So very good team behind that car. So if anyone's going to extract pace from the Z4, it'll be them. So good stuff from JJ. But again, obviously we've got just under 7 minutes to go. So we're getting into that time of the session where the track will be gripping up and everyone will be starting to find their pace as we go towards the end. But still Adam Taylor on that 51.55 in the lead, 2/10 clear of his teammate.
Yeah.
But again, as we said, we'll have to see post-race where that stands if that middle sector was a little bit suspicious. But again, we'll find that out between the qualifying and the race.
Yeah, but I mean, considering the previous lap time that he did was 52.152, which he did twice, fun fact, and then his next lap he did a 51.550. I would be surprised as he comes towards the line. Is he going to improve or anything? No, he's on an outlap. Cool. I would be surprised if a Mr. Adam Taylor could not pull another one out of the hat. And even then, it is always nice consolation to have your teammate as the car behind. So either way, it's good times at the moment for Dark Racing.
Indeed,
no dark times for them. Faber through the first sector. Oh, he's messed up the chicane. Never mind. He was Daniel Faber for the 3 wide 143. It's not 143. It's a 43 car. Was 2/10 up on his best through the first sector. He's currently 7,000th, and I do not understand why this car says 143 on the back when it's the 43 car. That really bugs me. Sorry, I'll just go on a massive rant in the middle of this broadcast. That's a good one. Edmund Trevelyan Johnson down in 10th position. One of your Viper boys, which is now it's like a bike gang. That's what they're going to be called now, the Viper boys. He's 3/10 up on his best through that second sector. Let's see what he's like. Oh, that was lovely through that hairpin. Absolutely lovely. And then through this final corner, that looked like a pretty decent final complex. Maybe runs a little bit too wide, losing a grip on the right-hand side of the car. But either way, Edmund Trevelyan Johnson towards this line. Is he going to improve? Yes, he does by half a second. Moves up to 4th position. That car's got some pace.
Sure, yeah. I mean, again, obviously you said the Viper, possibly one of the other ones that's a little less advantage to the other cars. But yeah, really good lap from him. So that's a bit of he's been sort of just sitting down at the back end of the 10 for most of the session. He's just pulled that one out at the end, or towards the end of the session. So good stuff from him. So I'll be very happy with that. And surely you'd think, unless the pace drastically improves, he should be relatively safe in room 1. So yeah, well done to those guys. Really good lap.
Yeah, we've also got Fortin, who comes towards the line. Sorry if that's really wrong. He doesn't improve. Doesn't improve his final sector though. But that 102 car's got some pace, a bit more pace than maybe he's currently shown, but really not long left to actually completely set it. Pinto through the first sector has been a 10th up on his best, but he's pulled off. We are approaching this part of the session where people are going to be starting their final laps or getting ready for their final laps. Let's have a look. Eric Strana through that middle sector, he's 200ths up on his best. And this Viper through this final sector, this final complex of corners, should be all right. But we shall see.
Have a look here. We'll see if he's
here he goes.
Yeah. Looks pretty good there. Looks pretty nice through the hairpin. Again, not bad through there. Got the apex nicely. Runs it wide. And gets the apex nicely. Yeah.
This doesn't look as good as Trevelyan Johnson's final sector. That was pretty nice. But here we go, though. The number 42 car to the line. He does improve by 0.2 of a second and moves to 5th, which I'm sure that team will absolutely take. JJ enters the pit lane. Zanabini in the 55 car, the ROTW car, through this final sector. Keep an eye on this car. He is currently half a second up. I would say keep an eye, but the autocams isn't being friendly to you. I'm sorry. But either way, to the line now, this C7R, is he going to improve? Yes, he does. 0.4 of a second, moves up into 7th position. Who's the other one? That's the other one. Sorry, the 87 car. You can talk us through the final sector of this one, because he is 0.3 up on his best, currently in 8th position.
Yeah, indeed. So he's just running down the straight now, heading towards the line in that very standout livery, the purple and the blue there, and the white, and all sorts of colours, in that one. But going through the hairpin, a little bit wide, missed the apex slightly, but not too bad. Gets that apex all right as well. Again, pretty similar to Strahan, really. He's not clobbering the apex, although he does a pretty good job clobbering that last one. But again, not clobbering them, but just getting them just about right. So should be a decent lap here as he comes towards the line. In that Ferrari, comes across right about now, and wow,
not bad,
fourth spot.
Not bad.
Yeah.
That was a nice final sector, up to 4th position there from 8th, which is absolutely fantastic there for him. That was really, really nice.
Yeah, sure.
Touché.
Yeah.
I believe, Have we got, where's that said for? Sorry, look, I know the bias is too extreme for you guys, but we do love our good Z4. Yes, it is currently P9, so it's dropping to the point where JJ needs to get on with it. To move himself up. And of course that is the same case with an awful lot of these boys a little bit lower down the order. They need to find a bit more pace if they're going to get anywhere.
Yeah, definitely, because it is very, very close right now as everyone's starting to get their laps. And as we've seen, it's good 3 guys now we've seen. They've just found quite a substantial chunk of pace in this last part of the session as the track really starts to rubber up.
Grubber up.
Whatever that means. Yeah, rubber up in the last few minutes of the session. But JJ just coming through now. I think he's on a lap, I'm guessing. I'm not sure if he's on an out lap or on a lap. I'll have a look. I think he is on a lap, yeah. We'll keep an eye on him anyway. Is he on a lap? Yeah.
He's on a lap now. He's
Okay.
It's only just started.
Okay, cool.
Oh, look, if on the broadcast, I know this would be a little bit while ago, we have the sun driving around.
That's right.
It's very bright and yellow. Right, so let's have a look. Oh, here we go. The 43 car, the 3-wide motorsports car, half a second off of Taylor, who's got a really nice first couple of sectors. Of course, whether that'll stand or not, we don't really know. Currently, though, nearly 3/10 up on himself. Makes a bit of a mistake. He makes a bit of a mistake to this final complex of corners. The hairpin, he misses just a little bit.
Oh,
Oh, that's a big mistake there for the 3 wide car. That lap done, basically.
Yeah. There's no way that's going to challenge. So shame for them. That was looking pretty good, but unfortunately, these cars, you lose it through there, and you just pretty much the whole sector gets completely ruined by just missing one corner. So it's, again, as we said, really challenging last sector. But shame for him. Time has run out, so everyone now on their final laps of the session.
As an update as well, Adam Taylor, his previous lap time was a 51.639. Now, if that was legal, that would still slap him on pole position. So things are still looking good for that car. As yes, the session has completely run out. Anyone getting the start-finish line now will be meeting a checkered flag, which means anyone making a mistake, as I've just seen the KSM car, that will be session done for them. And currently we have a Dark Racing 1-2. And it's currently Atlantic Motorsports in that third position. But we'll see if anyone else can improve. Eric Strana has done with his session. He's currently in 6th position. Let's have a look and see if anyone else. James Johnson through this final sector for the final time. Is he going to improve? Clobbers the curb massively. He's got a bit of a draft here from a Porsche up ahead. Currently in 9th position, 52.514 to his name. Is he going to improve as he hits the line? No, he doesn't. So that is the session done for him. Faber currently on your screen. He's going through this middle sector. Let's have a look. Sectors are looking good. Sectors are looking good for Faber. We'll see as he comes down towards this final complex of corners. A lot of smoke up ahead, and he's made a boo-boo. He's done it.
Yeah. Too fast, just too much speed again into the hairpins. The same thing as he did on his previous attempt at that lap, so they're just more extreme this time. So shame for him again. He was on a good lap, so that sort of shows that those guys might have a bit more pace for the race that they weren't able to show here in qualifying.
Rodrigo Lopez. He currently moved up to 9th position in race weekend team, but now that obviously a few people left. I think that was 10th. I think that was actually 10th that he just moved up into. So if that is the case, that is very important. Do we have a Jimmy Allison here? Yes, we do. Yeah. Okay, so we can end the broadcast. We won't be on cameras for this for like the next 2 days. Cool. Yes. Either way, I think that pretty much wraps us up here for qualifying. I don't see anyone else on a lap time. I don't think anyone would have been able to start a lap time. I don't know if Morby is. I'm pretty sure qualifying is over, yeah.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that there settles your order, which would mean that as long as that second lap time was clean by Adam Taylor, that will be amazingly the second and only second Dark Racing pole position. But not only is it a Dark Racing pole position, it's a Dark Racing 1-2 for those boys. So a good round of qualifying and an interesting 6 hours of Istanbul ahead of us. I'm pretty sure you'll be on commentary a little bit for it, right, my old buddy?
Probably, yeah. I'm not 100% sure on what's going on there, because I know James and Josh, I think, are going to be covering most of it. So they may not even need me. Who knows? But yeah, if I'm needed, I'd happily be along again to the commentary. Hope so, because it would be very fascinating to see how all of that, or what we just saw, translates into the race. Because I'm sure, as we know here at the VEC, anything can happen. So you never know what will actually happen once the race kicks off. So looking forward to it. Should be a classic.
Absolutely. Of course, the last round, or 12 months ago, the race for LMP1 came down to the final complex of corners with Oscar Hardwick bashing his way into victory. And so obviously this race I'm expecting to be an absolute classic. 6 hours of Istanbul, 1 week's time. Do not miss it. We've only got 3 rounds of this championship to go, and that is 4 categories, 4 championships that need to be wrapped up coming the end of the season. So do not miss it. 1 week's time, we'll be back, and until then, have a very warm goodbye.